Weird. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Thornton May. I'm the co-founder at the Digital Value Institute, and I am very fortunate today to be with Rob Uselman, who is one of the hardest working guys in information technology. Has been done amazing things in data and is working at a very interesting place, the PGA. So, Rob, would you please introduce yourself and also talk about the PGA?
Yeah, my name is Rob Uselman, as Thornton said, and I've worked at the PGA Tour for just about 33 years now. So it's kind of become my home. It's an amazing organization. It's something people don't realize about it is we are a nonprofit organization. So obviously you hear PGA, it's actually the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour is different from the PGA of America. The PGA of America is your club pros and that level, and PGA Tour is what you see on TV. The guys golfing all over the world on TV. So, but the PGA Tour is a nonprofit organization. When you go and watch these tournaments, all the money they make is nonprofit. It all goes back into the local charities. So it's been my pleasure to work for such an organization for 33 years. So that's pretty much says it all about the tour.
All right. So now you're in information, because when people think of golf, they don't necessarily think about information technology. And yet, from our conversations, I mean, we've known each other for 8 years. I've sort of been a Rob Uselman groupie and a PGA groupie, but you're a surprisingly tech literate and technology advanced organization. So talk to me a little about IT at the PGA Tour and also your career there. I mean.
Oh, well, let me give you a little background on my career first. I'll start with that. And I started out as a mechanic at the PGA Tour, taking care of the golf course equipment.
Wow.
And as I guess I did that for about 8 years, and then I was struck with MS, so I got to the point where I couldn't really do that type of physical work anymore. So the PGA Tour came to me and said, well, what do you want to do now? And this was back in the early 90s, I think around 92 or so, 93. And I said, well, I've always liked computers, so I'd like to try my hand at that. So they gave me some tests, and it all worked out, and blah, 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 blah. Gave me some books to read, and I started out programming computers for the PGA Tour. And then that just advanced into, as time goes by, you get decent at something, you don't get to keep doing it. So then I had to become a project manager, which is what I'm still doing today. I manage a lot of our IT projects, particularly in our data areas. So technology, what I've seen happen over the years is amazing at the tour. I've seen it go from where we just captured basically scores.
Right.
So the score of each player on a hole and how they did, and then just little peripheral things like did he hit the green? Did he hit the fairway? How far was his drive? Things of that nature. So the IT, so I want to set this up. So the IT went from the very basics of sports to very, very advanced technology. Today, we are capturing information with lasers and cameras. So we went from, sorry, Thornton. My wife's leaving town. I had to wave goodbye.
There you go. Well, that's good. That's important. You're a wise man, too. You're a good project manager.
Yeah. They're bailing out on me. I got the weekend to myself.
There you go.
Where was I?
Well, oh no, you were talking about where you went from. You were basically you were at data and you were moving because remember you were just keeping scores and then you meant and then you migrated from there from keeping scores to actually migrate to doing all kinds of stuff with lasers and data and actually creating new metrics, right? So all kinds of interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we went from just a few guys. I think there was 1, 2, 3 programmers. And, half a dozen guys in the field capturing data, to now we capture everything with lasers and cameras. And gosh, I can't even say how many people are in the field. There's a walking scorer, there's with every group, and he's got a handheld, and there's the laser operators, 3 or 4 on every hole. There's cameras set up on every green. Basically, where we've gone from is capturing one number, really, a score on every hole, to now I get 60 data points on every shot. I'm sorry, 60 data points a second on every shot.
Well, so 60 data points a second on every shot. Okay, well, that's pretty amazing. So one of the things people worry about in transformation and digital is that it takes away job. This is actually creating work, right? So you've got 60 data points per second per shot, right? Type of thing. So now you were telling me something is that you actually use this data now, and you're under a certain time frame that you have to use this data by.
Yeah, we have to. For the media purposes, we have the shots, all that data is published within 10 seconds. Now, so meaning that it's available for them to come pick up. Right. So it's put out into the cloud and they can come and get it at their leisure, but it's out there within 10 seconds of it happening at the max. But now with the new with gambling being legalized. Sorry, that dog's driving me nuts. I don't know if you can hear that dog barking in the background.
He's excited about the story too.
With the gambling being legalized now and all the contracts and stuff with that, we now have just 3 seconds to provide information. So, and what happens now is the walking scorer is responsible to say, okay, he's approached the ball. So once he approaches the ball, the walking scorer hits the button, and okay, so that's locked. So the people, and this was a surprise to me that people actually bet to this level, but betting's done at that point. So you can't bet, is he going to hit the green? Is he going to be within so many feet of the pin? Or so betting stops once that walking scorer hits the button that says he's approached the ball. So that added a whole new layer to our data, how efficient we had to be with getting it out there and available.
Gotcha. So now one of the things you talked to us about at the Digital Value Institute is about the fact that you actually created new metrics, right? And is it and tell us a little about that, because you're very active in that space. So what were some of those new metrics? I mean, because people may not know what that stuff is.
The new statistics? Yes. Are you referring to?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I worked with some people at MIT and some people at forgive me.
Princeton? Was it the professor at Princeton? Maybe.
Yeah, Professor Mark Brody at Columbia.
Columbia.
Yeah, and we constructed these new statistics, strokes gained statistics. So for the first time, golfers were always measured against the golf course. Okay, did he hit the green? Did he do this? Did he do that? You're measured against the golf course. Well, this new statistic, for the first time, you're measured against your peers. So it's okay. You hit the green from this distance, and you ended up this close. What did everybody else do from the fairway on that hole? So, or you were in the rough, and you hit your rough shot, and it landed on the green, and it was this far from the hole. So, what did everybody else do? And that's called a strokes gained. So you might have done 0.02 better than your peers. Well, then that adds up and accumulates over the course of a round, and so for that round, you might have been a full stroke better from the rough than your peers. Or you might have been, you might have putted, you might have picked up 2 strokes on the field versus, than everybody else. So when you add all that up, you can see, you can break a player's game down by how many strokes he gained on the field in each area of his game. So that does a lot for not just the fans, they can see that, but the players themselves. They look at that and say, okay, well, here's where I got to work on my game because I'm losing strokes here, or I'm gaining strokes here, and this is my strong point. So it's getting really a lot of statistics go into this game these days, not just from a fan perspective, but also the players use them a lot in their training and what they work on.
So the PGA Tour really is not just it's really not the organization we thought it was, because it's not just an event management it's a technology company, but it's also a data company. So that's
yeah, the broadcasters, and I'll talk a little bit out of my realm here. I don't work with them very often, but I've been told that NBC, CBS, and even Fox has said we have the most advanced technology of any of the major sports.
Well, I've certainly been impressed with what you're doing. So here you are. You've migrated from basically very, very basic to very, very advanced. And so, what could you give us a little glimpse? I'm a futurist, and so what do you think? What lies in the future of golf? I didn't realize that we could actually bet on strokes. So,
some of the things that you might think are in the future are actually here. For example, and I may or may not have mentioned this in before, but if you're in the broadcast booth, if you're a broadcaster, and you're talking about this player's, this could happen if this player does this or that, he does that. Well, we've given them the tools to forecast that. They can literally go in and change a player's score or change his distance or whatever in the system and see what would happen if before it happens. So they have the tools to go in and say, okay, let's move this here, move that there, or change this score to that, and see what does that do to the entire field.
So it's amazing.
So that's pretty cool. And we also have a lot of technology that writes stories for them as well. It's going to as the round progresses and as the players on a hole, they have stories. The system popped up stories in front of them and says, hey, here's an interesting fact. This player's made birdie 8 of the 9 times he's played this hole. Or if this player were to make birdie, this would happen. So the system gives them that information and gives them those stories in advance. So that helps out the broadcasts a lot. So there's a lot of technology that's been built over the years that's come a long ways from just having a score to look at.
So you guys are identifying patterns and doing all that other cool stuff. So that's very cool.
Well, yeah, in the future, I think you're going to see, and we can already do this on the greens, but you're going to see the shot tracks before they happen. We can show you hey, if he hits the ball this way, this will be the result. Because I can show you, I can look at a green, I can pull up a graphic and say, the player's right here. If he were to hit the putt at this point, at this speed, he would make that putt. If he doesn't do that, he's going to miss the putt. So then I can overlay what he did with what the computer said he should have done.
I've actually seen that graphic on some of the TV shows. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty neat.
It is. Well, so we've come a long ways with data and technology, and it's getting even more so to the point where I'm getting to where I can only focus on the small pieces of it because it's getting so big that it's taking a lot of people to pull it all together. I guess what I'm saying is no one person has all the knowledge anymore.
Well, that's one of the things. The next time we're going to do this interview, I'm going to be talking to you about the book that you're going to write because you got to tell the story.
Yeah, well, the fun stories are what's happened on the golf course and stuff before I ever got into IT. Those are the fun things. The next time we do it, I won't have a dog barking in the background because I'm sure that's irritating as heck.
No, not at all. It adds color commentary, right? It's a good thing. So, Rob, we read about it in our time here. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Rob Uselman, ladies and gentlemen, with the PGA Tour. Thanks so much, and we'll come back to you and talk more about the future of golf sometime. Thank you, Rob.
All right, Gordon. I hope I got you some of what you needed.
Oh, it was perfect. Thank you, brother. Thanks.
All right. See ya.
Bye.